The first day of NFL free agency is starting to wind down, so I want to go through all of the moves that the Eagles did not make, and that includes a lot of players who did leave Philadelphia, as it was kind of an action-packed day for Howie Roseman and this team because they had to make some decisions as far as not retaining players. And I'm going to hand out my Eagles Day 1 NFL free agency grades and try to calm some people down a little bit and be the voice of reason for all of Philadelphia. You're watching Eagles Now by Chat Sports. I'm Chase Sr. Thank you so much for supporting the show. Thanks to everybody who tuned in to our live show for day 1 of free agency. We'll be back on Tuesday with more coverage. As I said, kind of a weird day for the Eagles, right? Howie Roseman has always been so aggressive normally in free agency. But with the Eagles coming off that Super Bowl championship and with Philadelphia figuring to lose a lot of players who helped them win the Super Bowl, who were up for big contracts, Howie Roseman had an idea, Jeffrey Lurie, Nick Sirianni did as well, that a lot of players on this Eagles team were going to have opportunities at very large paydays. And that's exactly what happened. We're talking bag after bag after bag for some of these players. And keep in mind, too, that Howie Roseman was pretty busy in free agency last week before it started by giving a new contract to Saquon Barkley, being able to re-sign Zach Bond. And you had an idea that maybe this offseason, maybe in free agency, it was going to be a little bit of a different feel from the Eagles and Howie Roseman and a different approach, because it's smart to let these players walk and get paid knowing that you have the necessary depth pieces to step in at an affordable rate to play good football, hopefully in 2025, to help you absorb losing some of these players from a playing standpoint on the field, but also a salary cap standpoint. And the Eagles are also set up very nicely as far as future draft compensation. And when we were at the NFL Combine, you had an idea that a lot of this was going to happen, and the Eagles weren't going to make a ton of moves because Howie even said it might look a little bit different. Last year, we were very aggressive. We knew we had to improve. This year, they still have a very talented football team. So for Eagles fans out there who thought that the Eagles were going to make big splashes and monster moves, sorry that you're disappointed, but that's why you should continue to watch the show, because we had an idea that this is around the corner. So Philadelphia losing Isaiah Rodgers to the Minnesota Vikings, Milton Williams to the New England Patriots. A lot of chatter that Darius Slay is going to be signing with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Some confusion there. We'll get to that. Josh Sweat reuniting with Jonathan Gannon with the Arizona Cardinals. The Eagles did make a trade in trading Kenny Pickett to the Cleveland Browns for Dorian Thompson-Robinson and a 5th-round pick. And now Tanner McKee will be QB2 behind Jalen Hurts in 2025. And then Oren Burks, the most recent player that just came down, who is going to be leaving Philadelphia, signing with the Cincinnati Bengals, 2-year, $5 million deal. I would have brought Oren Burks back for that price. Opportunity to start. Uncertainty around Nakobe Dean when he had to fill in for Dean. He played awesome, and he gives you special teams value. But I think this is a really good sign that Vic Fangio really likes Jeremiah Trotter Jr. But with Isaiah Rodgers and Oren Burks, those are 2 players at those price tags. If I'm Howie, I probably would have brought them back. Let's go player for player here. I had predicted that Milton Williams was going to get $20 or more million per season. He blew that out of the water. And New England had a lot of cap space. They need to improve that defense. They want to get aggressive while Drake May is on his rookie contract. And this is an aggressive move. Signing Milton Williams to a 4-year, $104 million contract. He gets $63 million in guaranteed money, $26 million per year. A lot of people think it's an overpay. It might end up being an overpay. But here's the thought process here. Milton Williams is 6'3", 290, fast, big, explosive, at an important position, can provide you with an interior pass rush at a very elite level. He had the 2nd highest pass rush grade among defensive tackles in the entire NFL in 2024. He's also in his mid-20s and has limited tread on the tires. And so I think the Patriots are banking on the fact that Milton Williams has a lot of good football left in him. can continue on this ascent of developing into a really good player. He's coming off a 5-sack season where he also shined in the Super Bowl, and with more snaps, he'll give you more production. Because that 90.4 pass rush grade really stands out. Run defense grade, 43.1. He could be better there. But he only had 302 pass rush snaps. And in that limited workload, 28 hurries, 20th at the position, 40 pressures, 19th at the position. That's really good production there from Milton Williams. And I think that he's only going to continue to get better if he continues to work hard and perfect his craft. For Josh Sweat, thought that he was going to leave, and I had pegged the Arizona Cardinals as a likely destination because he gets the team back up with Jonathan Gannon. The Cardinals know that Sweat under Gannon is a scheme fit. They had the money to pay him, and at 6'5", 250, 260, Josh Sweat gives you a good pass rusher coming off a good year, who's also good against the run, now brings you a championship veteran. He cashes in 4 years, $76.4 million, $41 million in guaranteed money. He had a career best season when Jonathan Gannon was his DC in 2022, when Sweat had 11 sacks. Eagles Super Bowl gear is available, by the way. All you have to do, plug in that link down below, chatsports.com/EaglesSB. That's chatsports.com/EaglesSB. You can get shirts, hats, hoodies, jerseys, plenty of stuff available. It's chatsports.com/EaglesSB. Get your Super Bowl merchandise today. We're going to put that link down below in the comment section and in the description of today's Philadelphia Eagles now, so that you can get swagged up and swagged out with your Eagles merchandise. Some of the good news that I want to hit before I forget, including compensatory picks, the Eagles could have 8 selections in the first 4 rounds of the 2026 NFL draft. Not this draft, but next draft. They have their own first, their own second, a third from the Jets, their own third compensatory pick, a fourth, 2 compensatory picks in the 4th round, plus 5th, 6th compensatory pick, and a 7th. Howie Roseman's definitely thinking about this, because in losing Josh Sweat and Milton Williams, they're going to get some good compensatory picks back. As for Darius Slay, conflicting reports here. The Eagles have not officially released Darius Slay. If they release him pre-June 1, post-June 1, if they trade him pre-June 1, post-June 1, there are financial implications at play here as far as the dead money charge, how much it would impact the Eagles salary cap. But a lot of the chatter is that Slay, who wants to play one more year for a Super Bowl contender, is going to sign with the Pittsburgh Steelers. We'll see what the dollar figure is if that ends up happening. And then there's Kenny Pickett, traded to the Cleveland Browns for Dorian Thompson-Robinson and a 5th-round pick. The Eagles are getting rid of Kenny Pickett, sending him to Cleveland for a developmental quarterback in DTR who has a lot of ability. I liked him coming out of UCLA, played good football there under Chip Kelly. And they're getting a 5th-round pick back. And they're getting that 5th-round pick back this year. Howie Roseman can use that as such. He can use that to move up in the draft. Tanner McKee is the better quarterback than Kenny Pickett anyway. And with what he's been able to show, I think that Tanner McKee can be a starter in this league. I think he already becomes one of the top backups in the league. And so to get a player and a pick back while just elevating the better quarterback to QB2, sending Pickett to Cleveland, that's a win for Philadelphia. Pickett, a lifelong Eagles fan, won a Super Bowl with Philadelphia. He took more Super Bowl snaps than Dak Prescott has ever taken and might ever take. And he's going to have an opportunity to start for Cleveland. The Browns could go quarterback at number 2. If they do so, Kenny Pickett could still be the holdover guy for the Browns. Isaiah Rodgers signing with the Minnesota Vikings. 2 years, $15 million deal. He gets $8 million in guaranteed money. Howie Roseman must feel really good about Moro Ajomo stepping in for Milton Williams, Jalix Hunt stepping in for Josh Sweat, Keely Ringo stepping in for Darius Slay, and Isaiah Rodgers, with Eli Ricks, Quinyon Mitchell, and Cooper DeJean also in that secondary. I thought that after the Eagles moved on from Slay, I would have paid this for Isaiah Rodgers. I think he's a really solid player, who played well anytime he was asked to play a season ago. He gets $7.5 million per year. And I think that's a pretty good going rate for Isaiah Rodgers. I thought he was going to get around 5, maybe a little bit more, and he's right in that neighborhood. So it's hard to give the Eagles a grade, right? They're still a really talented team. As of right now, if they bring back Goddard and Becton, they'll have all 11 starters returning. If they lose Becton and Goddard by free agency for Becton, trade for Goddard, or a release, that's 9 of 11 starters coming back. Defensively, yeah, you lose Milton Williams. You lose Josh Sweat. You lose Isaiah Rodgers and Darius Slay. There's going to be a little bit of a remake and a makeover on the defensive side of the ball, but you still have a lot of talent and youth talent on that side of the ball. So I'll give Howie a B for day one of free agency. The Eagles don't make a signing, but they let players go and they get some compensatory picks back. I think that's a win because a way to stay a consistent winner is building through the draft, and we're seeing that here. Good players getting great money, and when these players hit free agency, they're too costly to keep. And keep in mind, Quinion Mitchell, Cooper DeJean, you're going to want to retain them. Nolan Smith, Jordan Davis, Jalen Carter, they're going to be due for contract extension soon. Reed Blankenship in that category. And that's probably what the Eagles are thinking here. Good businesses think in the present, they think in the future, and that's what Howie and Jeffrey Lurie do.